all of it again.
Sir, you don't understand. You ruined our life. How dare you? I'm just absolutely disgusted. I feel completely violated. I feel preyed upon. I feel stalked by her. I mean, I'm humiliated.
What pulled it at y'all's heart when you first got sucked in by this?
I thought I had an opportunity to change someone's life for the better.
And you say that she sent you photos of a brain scan.
She did, yes.
Right? And it showed 13 lesions.
13 lesions on her brain.
Right, which, I mean, that's severe. 13 lesions is pretty good coverage.
I think she also knew that we had kind of limited knowledge and experience of the disease, so I just accepted it as the truth.
Right.
She's very intelligent. She really did her research. And one thing that she did that I found particularly distressing was she would adopt the stories of other survivors in the organization. So there was a young woman that we knew that had a similar experience. She did have cancer had gone to her brain, and she had similar lesions. So Sarah adopted her story as her own.
And she said that she had just really chemotherapy, very aggressive, and that she had to have blood transfusions, and that she just was scared to death, just paralyzing anxiety about all of this, right?
Nonstop.
And you say that she just cried about fears of dying and her legacy and leaving her daughter without anyone, that she was just playing the family card, the fear card, the disease card, everything.
She played the entire deck of cards.
And as I'm talking to you about this now, you seem pained about this now. I mean, I see pain in your face as you're talking about this now.
It's incredibly painful. It's incredibly painful. It's you know, she's changed me, who I am as a person. You know, I'm now looking at everybody and saying, are you real? Do I believe you? Is what you're, I second guess myself. You know, and I consider one of my good qualities is that I want to help, and I don't know if I want to do anymore. Like, she's robbed me of the one joy in my life, and that was helping other people. I don't want her to do that to me.
I absolutely feel stalked and violated by Sarah. I look outside the window probably 100 times a day.
It's been an invasion of our privacy, of our personal lives, and a huge lack of trust.
It's incredibly upsetting even to me that I find myself now second-guessing everybody that I know.
You say she made Facebook posts and then she shared photos about her treatment, right?
She did.
So she had photo evidence here. This wasn't just a story.
Right.
And, you know, we look at them here, and she's got a head wrap here, blanket, and she's all done, going home, feeling drained at Cancer Center. Okay, now let's think about this for a minute. She dates this January 22nd, so I want you to think about this. What do you think now when you realize to create this post, she had to go get dressed up like this, put this head wrap on, get a blanket, get everything set up, and either somebody take that picture or set up a timer on a camera and create this illusion of being at a chemo infusion center and post that up? She had to, this wasn't like, oh, did something slipped out when I was talking to somebody. She had to actually create this image for you.
This is all premeditated. All of it.
It's maniacal. I mean, sincerely, who has time for this was my first question. It's just sick. It's just sick.
Next one. Well, it's that time again, infusion day. This is a week later. I braved the sub-zero temps to make it in. So it's not enough that she's just having to go through it.
Right.
It's like walking to school uphill 2 miles both ways. It's like sub-zero temperatures I've got to go through to get there. February 4th, heading to Houston for Gamma Knife. As always, prayers and positive juju are always appreciated. Then March 5th. So this is my least favorite day of the week, but I'm going to pick myself up so I can kick some cancer blank. So here she goes, just like, you know, be proud of me. I'm courageous.
In between all of these posts, she must have messaged me 100 times a day. Literally 100.
100 times a day?
At least 100. Looking for help, support, and she knew that I was going to leave whatever I was doing at that minute to help her, and I would.
Well, Sarah told Liz and Brian that she had a stalker who was in love with her husband. Now, this is a video message Sarah sent to Liz after claiming she saw her stalker at the gym.
I'm not going to let her take this away from me. I'm bigger than that.
What did you think about this? I mean, because at this point, your protective juices start kicking in, because now this is a stalker. We're talking about threats, to safety, and she's talking to your wife 100 times a day.
Right.
So she's bringing this drama to your door. I know you want to help her, but now she's bringing drama to your door.
Yeah, and it's been sort of twofold there, because I also had developed a relationship online with her husband, and I've been chatting with him, trying to offer some support as you would, and say, hey, if you need an ear to talk to, and we can have this conversation. So it's definitely a very odd thing to be saying played back in real time.
Yeah, because there were messages between the two of you, because you're trying to do your part and support with him. And these messages, like James to you, hey man, I know we haven't talked much, but I'm really struggling, right? Some extra support would be awesome. Of course, tell me what's going on. You're saying, yeah, I'm here. Then I'm doing everything I can possibly think of to make her happy, but I can't compete with you guys in Florida. Well, I'm happy that she's happy with new people that she's found, but I'm feeling pretty left out right now. So she, through imaginary him, is guilt-inducing you guys for supporting her.
Right.
That did make us feel pretty bad. There was one weekend that she wanted to come visit us, and I said, you really got to stay home. You've been leaving your husband for 3 weeks in a row now, and he's been supporting you. You need to spend some time with him. And we told her one weekend that she absolutely could not come to Florida to visit us, and that was the weekend that she just couldn't handle not having all of our time, and she created the shootout.
Yeah. I hear in the texture of your comments, you still are talking about him and them almost as though he's real.
We believe that he was.
Right.
We said
but now, today.
It's very hard to process. I've been having a really hard time since finding this out, moving forward. Really hard. I said I don't know what to believe anymore.
First off, she's exploiting you totally. She knows this. Because you have to, and I'm saying this for a reason, in order for you to unpack all of this, as twisted as it seems, you've got to stand in her shoes for a minute and think about the other side of this equation. Go to her end and think what she's doing. She's saying, okay, now I've got to message them, so what am I going to do? And she said, okay, I'm going to guilt-induce them on my husband's part, who doesn't exist. So he's going to tell them that he feels left out. Is this to set you up to do some things for him? So she has two portals of drain?
Absolutely. She set the James in motion so that I would be offering him support, you were offering him support, and then vicariously she was getting that support.
So now there's 200 times a day, 100 from you, maybe 100 from you. She's doubling down by coming up with him, and then you're saying, hey, you need to stay home with him. And she, well, obviously you don't get it, lady, so we're going to jack this up. And so here are some messages between Sarah and Liz about the stalker. Sarah, after me. And you say, you're safe. Cops are on it now. What? Phone 1%. Their phone's dying, right? So you're safe, okay? She's chasing me. Well, where are the cops? Hide. She has a gun. So she's creating this like she's actually in a store, right? And my phone's dying, so I'm getting ready to leave you twisting here. I want drama. I want you to... So she's raising it up, where I'm going to leave you not knowing, so you will be suffering, worrying about me. Right. My phone's dying. I'm down to 1%. She's chasing me. There's a... The cops aren't here. And then radio silence.
Right.
What's the payoff? What do you think she's getting out of that?
Well, she followed it up with, after this incident, I told her, I said, my gosh, I am so drained, I'm exhausted. You called me at that moment. I said, I felt responsible for the outcome of your life. And then she played that for the next 2-3 days, knowing that I felt so responsible at that moment.
When you were drained, she was grazed by a bullet.
Obviously, I let her down.
Right? She was grazed by a bullet because she sent you a photo.
She did.
And she claims 7 people were injured in the shooting. Now, this... Ryan, was her undoing, right?
Yeah, that was...
Because now this is a newsworthy event.
Right.
So now you have the ability to objectively corroborate something.
Correct. I had a few suspicions along the way, but I'm not going to go to somebody that is undergoing chemo and ask those types of questions. This was a different story.
Now she knew, because you had shared this, that you had had a friend.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So knowing that, she plays this drama out to you, knowing that you had lost someone you cared about to violence. So she puts herself in that situation, knowing that that is a relevant, raw situation with you. How do you feel about that now, knowing that she knew that and chose that raw content to exploit you?
I'm furious. You know, we had very personal conversations about that shooting, and I told her, you know, how it felt at that time, and you know, how it was still troubling to me. So she just went and reopened the wound.
Yeah. Well, next, we're going to meet Bethany, a woman who met Sarah at a camp for people with disabilities. Now, Bethany was Sarah's camp counselor and caregiver. Sadly, Brian and Liz aren't the only two people who say they have felt violated by Sarah's tall tales and lies. Bethany says she also became friends with Sarah, but this time she was in a wheelchair. They met at a camp for people with disabilities 3.5 years ago. Take a look.
I met Sarah at a camp for adults with disabilities. I was a camp counselor, which also was a dual role as the caregiver. Sarah told me that she had muscular dystrophy. She was in a power wheelchair. The camp is really focused on accepting any disability to be able to come and experience an outdoor lifestyle. There was horseback riding and archery, zip lining. As her caregiver, it was really rewarding to allow her to have those experiences and to see the smiles on her face. We would take care of all of her needs. If somebody needs to go to the bathroom, we're going to the bathroom. If they want to shower, we're going to go shower. I was the one to change her feminine products multiple times a day. Sarah and I did develop a friendship. I felt like we were very close. When she got home, Sarah and I would have conversations at least once or twice a week for about 6 months. Sarah signed up for the spring session to go back to camp. She had been telling her family that she was going down to that camp to volunteer. Her family was suspicious because she had done this several other times before, and they tried to catch her in those lies. A local pastor found out, contacted the camp to see if she was actually there as a volunteer or if she was there to be a camper. Her family showed up, the pastor showed up to confront her. The camp director helped facilitate that interaction. She got up out of the wheelchair and didn't say anything. When I heard the news that Sarah was faking her disability, there were just tons of anger and almost rage that I'd never experienced before. I absolutely felt betrayed. When I found out a couple weeks ago through Brian and Liz that Sarah was saying that she had terminal cancer, I just kind of laughed. It wasn't a shock to me that she's still doing this. This will be the first time that I'm going to see her walk, and this isn't about me, this is about her. I don't think she really realizes how much she's hurting people.
Well, Bethany, thank you for being here, number one, and thank you for what you do in that camp and helping people, number two. That is really a gracious thing for you to do. When you say she doesn't understand how this hurts people, how does it hurt people? How did it hurt you?
Well, first, it violated my trust completely. I mean, if somebody comes into a camp like that and says that I have muscular dystrophy or a different disease, I'm not going to question that. And now it kind of makes me want to question people that shouldn't have to be questioned. So that was the first violation. And then second, just violating my ability as a caregiver. You know, I was giving 200% of my attention to her. Everything that she wanted me to do was so much more physically involved than any of the other clients that I had dealt with. The things that I had to do for her that week, even down to changing her feminine products, you know, that's something that I can't even fathom being in a situation like that, to ask someone to do that.
Do you think she was laughing at you the whole time?
You know, that's never really crossed my mind. I just felt like she was so sick and into her lie that she believed the lie herself.
This is a woman that the day before camp is walking around.
Yeah.
And goes and gets a wheelchair and gets in it and rolls in there and pretends all of this the entire time, consciously makes this decision.
Yeah.
And she asked you for your ultrasound pictures.
She did. I was pregnant during that friendship, and she kept asking me to see the ultrasound pictures, which at the time I didn't think was weird, but hindsight, doing more research on her and finding out she had stolen other women's ultrasound pictures just is another violation of my trust.
How did you finally find out the truth? Was it when the pastor showed up?
I wasn't there when that happened. That was the following season. The camp director had called me knowing that her and I were really close and really good friends, and just watched her get up out of the wheelchair and walk to the van.
So it's been 4 years and you've never seen her walk?
No.
Okay. Well, next, she says she's ready to face and apologize to the people that she's lied to and betrayed. But is she really? Well, I'm here with Bethany, Liz, and Brian. They all say they have been victims of Sarah's, well, fabrications is a very kind word. None of them have seen or spoken to her since they discovered she does not have cancer, doesn't have a husband, doesn't have a daughter, doesn't have muscular dystrophy. Here's what Sarah has to say. Watch very carefully.
I have a lying addiction. The last 8 years, I've done all kinds of extreme measures to make my life seem more exciting. Growing up, you always want to have that perfect life. All my friends were getting married, and it made me feel left out. Around 25, 26 is when I told my first big lie. that I had cancer. So I first joined the online support group and met people, and that's when I started living that lie. I would post pictures, stuff like it's treatment day, can I have extra prayers and support? The things that I would do to change my look to make my lie believable was like buying wigs. I bought like a wheelchair. By lying, I was getting attention. Another lie was that I was married. I started off with like a husband and 2 kids. That was my first husband story lie. I would tell people that my husband's name was James. I would post pictures of me and my ex, or me and my cousin, and then I'd also post pictures of my friends' children with me. I've also lied about having muscular dystrophy. I've worked at a muscular dystrophy camp in the past, so I'm familiar with the people and what their struggles are. It took a lot of mental brain power to keep up the charade. If you're playing hockey and you want to hold the stick and hit the puck, you can't do that. I go into a relationship with a friend on the basis of lies every single time. Talking to Liz online was very personal. I told her I had stage 4 breast cancer. She was genuinely interested in me. I just had a really strong connection with her. Liz and Brian have like the perfect life. They own their own company with a boat right on the ocean. They kept trying to get James to come down to Florida, but obviously he couldn't do because he didn't exist. I thought I could deter them from the James situation by creating a stalker. Maybe that would get them off that tangent. Well, I definitely got out of control. I can't remember the last time that I met someone and told them my real truth. This is ultimately do or die for me. If I can't stop, it's going to wreck my life.
Well, Brian and Liz, you've only ever seen Sarah wearing a wig and a headscarf. You've never actually seen her real hair. Bethany, you've never seen her actually walk or be able-bodied. Are you guys ready to see the real Sarah?
I don't even know who the real Sarah is. So.
Well, let's find out. Let's bring Sarah out now. Sarah, Dr. Phil, have a seat. You know these 3 very well, actually.
I do.
You've been listening to everything we've been talking about.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to these folks?
That I'm extremely sorry for what I did. I didn't mean to hurt you guys the way that I did. Just such a compulsion that I couldn't control.
Sarah, it's way more than a compulsion. I mean, even just on that video, you're saying it's just an addiction to lying. This is way bigger and much more sick than just an addiction to lying.
I don't even believe a word you're saying. I don't.
Thank you. That's manipulator.
So I lied about the cancer, but the love that I had for you guys was
No,
like
no.
all of it again.
Sarah, you don't understand. You ruined our life. You took me away from my life, my family, my other friends, hours every day.
You gave me these crocodile tears of, I've never been able to do this before. I've never been able to cook my own meal. I've never been able to ride a horse. I've never been able to sit in a hammock or be on a swing or do a zip line. And we wanted to give you 500% of that experience. And you took that away from all those other campers as well. It's not even just about us.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah, how dare you? Our young friend on the West Coast that is battling stage 4 breast cancer, how dare you trivialize her disease and her illness, that she struggles for her life every day? How dare you do that to her? How dare you? I'm just absolutely disgusted.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can.
What do you know about yourself that is not apparent, that makes you know that you need to steal attention, steal affection, steal effort? What is it that you know about yourself that makes you aware that you could never get that by being you?
I'm just a really lonely person, and I just have a hard time making friends, and people have never liked me for who I am in the past.
What is it about you? I mean,
I
this
don't
is
know.
beyond just I'm lonely. You could go volunteer at this camp. You could have gone to the camp. You could have volunteered at the camp and become part of the peer group of counselors there. But instead, you stole the effort. You stole the compassion. You stole the love and care of these people instead of filling yourself up by giving what you needed the most. What is it about you that you know that makes you so disgusting that people won't have anything to do with you?
I don't know.
I don't believe that. You know something about you that you're hiding from these people, because you must know something about you that tells you I've got to steal this because nobody would ever give it to me. Nobody would ever be my friend. I've got to lie to get a friend. What is it you know about yourself?
I'm just not a very good friend. I've never had any time making friends in the past, and
Sarah, we very quickly became friends. I mean, overnight, looking back on this experience at camp, you showed up at camp with half of a suitcase packed with crafts and things that we could do and gifts for us and thanking us. I mean, those are things that genuine friends do. I don't even know if that version of you is real, because I don't know what's real with you, but I felt like that was how a genuine friend would act. There was a 50-50 relationship there. And so for you to just kind of throw your hands up and say, well, I'm just lonely and I have a hard time making friends, you don't, because they trusted you. They opened their home to you multiple times. I was sharing very personal details that I only share with my closest friends. So I don't feel like that's real.
I mean, I feel like the things that I did say to you guys was genuinely friendship material.
Well, let me ask about that. Do you consider yourself deviously manipulative?
Yes.
I mean, you knew she had a friend shot and killed, so you manufacture somebody hunting you down with a gun, and then your phone dies, so you leave her in suspense, knowing she's lost someone to gun violence, so you structure a parallel event. That's manipulatively devious, is it not? You did that on purpose.
Yes.
You wanted to hurt her.
I didn't want to hurt her. I just wanted the attention.
You either wanted to hurt her or you just didn't care if you did.
I would never want to hurt her.
I also want to clarify one thing, that we are not friends. We will never be friends. I want you to understand that.
Well, Liz says Sarah became so obsessed with her to the point that she started copying everything she did and said. Now, from contracting Ebola from a monkey in medical school and being paralyzed after ovarian cyst surgery to catfishing a disabled friend, Sarah's deceptions have no bounds. Plus, Sarah says she's sorry. But does she even know what that means? Does she even know what that feels like? Well, I have my doubts.
So this was part one of a two-part episode. This woman is sick. So she's been fabricating all of these things, right? She lied about having cancer. She lied about having muscular dystrophy. She lied about a husband and a daughter. She lied about a stalker. She faked a shootout. She's stolen other women's ultrasounds and lied about being pregnant, I guess. And then Dr. Phil listed a whole bunch of other things she lied about that I guess we'll hear more about in part two. But what really got me was that when she came out on stage, she said, yeah, I lied about cancer, but I lied about cancer, but the love was real. What love? She ruined some of these people's lives. I mean, the level of stress, anxiety, trauma that they experienced, that Liz and her husband experienced, and Sarah was being manipulative, orchestrating this shootout, knowing that Liz had lost someone to violence. The amount of time that they spent on her. Time is something that you can never get back. And Liz spoke to her sometimes 100 times a day. The amount of planning that has to go into the whole disability camp thing is ridiculous. She went and bought a wheelchair. Wheelchairs ain't cheap. She had this other woman changing her feminine products. How can these people ever trust anyone again? But anyway, this is part one. I cannot wait to see what else Sarah has to say in part two. I guess that's where she's gonna get grilled a lot harder. Some of her other victims come out of the woodwork. So you guys let me know what you think about this. Have you known anyone who's behaved like Sarah? Why do you think she's doing this? She says it's loneliness, but as it was pointed out, she's capable of making friends. She made friends with these people just fine. So y'all let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments.